Howdy. This is a video on how to replace your power window switches and the wiring in case you need to do that. I found that I had to do that with my 68 Charger. So first thing you're gonna see here, passenger side door. This is the connection for the existing wiring that goes to the actual motor to the window back here. This is the new connection that the new wiring that I've soldered in place here, and then I'll slide the heat shrink up here. Just put it on so it covers it. So I'll have to finish putting those on, but basically the way the old wiring works is I'll take you around this other side here. Okay, so mine just wasn't working right. So when I opened up the driver's side door to look at the main switch, this is what I had. So this is what all the cables went into on this side here. There's this piece here, right? So then all the cables came in through there, and they look like this when they've been taken out, right? So all those kind of stuck in there, however, in the proper order. So when I went to take mine apart, what I saw was the tan cable here, which is kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can get this off. Maybe not. Okay, so I've already trimmed it back, but essentially what you had was this cable was welded to this guy. It had gotten too hot or something, and so I was like, oh well, there's my problem. So I went to replace this guy and fix it. When I did, this whole thing just kind of shattered on me. So I ended up pulling all these cables out, and the other half is that this switch, these don't really make contact up or down. They're just kind of really flimsy, and same with the ones in the other doors and the back. So I ended up just cutting this at the door. So this goes from the door, right, and then this goes through the door to the inside of the cab on the car. So I cut that guy and traced that wire back, which is all this mess here. And basically traced all that back to each door or each window. And these are the old connections that you see when you don't break them. Here's another one. So they're much smaller because I just do the one window instead of that other one doing all four. Now here's the interesting part. Not sure what this yellow one does. Somehow it's spliced in there. But this gray cable here, what you're going to find is that, it's tan color. This guy here has a matching end on the inside of the car. And as you can see, I'm still working. And I've already cut it, but it came, well, here it is right here. So what I found was this guy, the other end of it snapped to the other end and went into the bigger wire. So it was looking like, if you pull up the diagrams, if you can read them, then it will tell you that tan wire is your power. And so it's figuring out where the power went. And what I wasn't getting was when I checked with this cable and then a ground, I wasn't getting any power. And so it was like, well, man, what's going on? So when I would trace it back, it was looking like it was going to the other side of the car. But finally, just following it, inch by inch, it went into a big ball of tape. I undid all the tape, and it just curled itself around. And what it actually connected to was this relay. And this relay is just up underneath the front dash here. I want to say it was hooked up this way here, but it was up out of sight where you couldn't see it, right? Somewhere up like that. Maybe it was, anyway, it was up there somehow. Well, so in testing this, what you'll find is one of these is going to be your positive. When the relay is working, one of these two will be hot. One of these two will be hot. This one's always hot, or vice versa. One is always hot, the other two are not. When you turn the ignition on, then the other two get hot. Well, that wasn't happening for me, so that's why I wasn't getting any power. And the wiring was probably still a problem in those switches, but this was the main culprit. And if you go try to buy one of these to replace it like it is, it's good $125 to $150 on Amazon or eBay is what I was finding. So I went to Car Toys here in town, and all we needed was just a universal relay. So we tapped into the red, which is the power coming from the car for the 9-volt off of the after the fuse box, and it just comes over here. And then the tan color, there's two of them. Basically, here we've got one going to white and the other one going to this little tan. But basically, you've got two key ignition leads coming off that you can power things with. So I'm using one for my windows, and basically it goes from this tan one, which was the existing one, and it loops around here. I've just got it tied into the rest of the cabling for the windows, and basically it goes from this main wiring, everything comes back to this guy, which is the main switch that does them all. So that goes through the door there into here, and then each window you're going to have a set of cables that's going to go back, and when they come back, they all tie into this main one, which again ties into that main switch. And so temporarily, just to test, I've got them done up like this. I'll end up taking those off and soldering them and using the heat shrink on those as well, and then I'll tuck it all up underneath the dash all nice and neat, and then you got power windows.